some neighbors were having a party, so we went, me and my brother, and we got into it with some people. We were there at the wrong time, wrong place, and unfortunately somebody did pass by the end of the night.
All right, first and foremost, what's your name and where you from?
My name's Josue Castaneda. I'm from Chino, California.
How long you been down?
I'm going on 7 years.
If you don't mind me asking, feel free to skip it if you don't feel comfortable, but what are you down for?
It's second-degree murder.
When did this happen exactly?
2019.
Again, if you don't feel comfortable discussing it, but we'd love to ask you, what were the circumstances that led to that specific event that day?
Yeah, absolutely. So, long story short, I used to be drawn by the party scene, and I used to be drawn to those kind of things. I was at my house, some neighbors were having a party, so we went, me and my brother, and we got into it with some people. We were there at the wrong time, wrong place, and it turned into more than what it should have been. And unfortunately, somebody did pass by the end of the night. But we were just there to have a good time, just to let loose a little bit. We never thought that anything else would happen more than that. But just sometimes life has unexpected things for you.
If you can go back to that day, how would you have handled the situation differently based on what you've learned?
Well, first and foremost, I wouldn't have been at that party. If I could go back in time, I wouldn't have been there. I would have been at home. I would have been doing something else. But there was many times where I felt like I could have made a different decision. Now that I think about it, when I go back and I think about and reflect on what happened that night, there's a lot of things that I could have done different that would have changed my outcome. Almost like a butterfly effect. But I would say I wouldn't be there in the first place.
Absolutely. So, do you feel like coming to prison has changed you tremendously?
Man, it's been a 360. It's been a 360 transformation in my life, completely inside and out. My mind, body, and soul. I've had time to dedicate this time into my mind, my body, and my soul. Just trying to perfect myself as a man. Grow and develop. So yes, most definitely, I would say there's been a big transformation in my life.
Now, like you said, you've had the time and the space. It's one of the things I think is intriguing, right? Is that it seems like things are moving so fast on the outside that a lot of people don't have the time or the space, or they don't recognize, or that they can carve out that space in order to think about some of the tough things in life. So, is that something you think is valuable within prison, like just a slow atmosphere?
It most definitely is, right? Sometimes when you're in solitude with no other distractions, out there you got your phone, you got your friends, you got a job, you got all these things that influence your life and don't let you focus and sit down. So sitting down in one place and being still most definitely gives you that time to reflect and ponder on your life. So I would say the slow atmosphere here in prison in general is giving me that ability to just focus on myself and be patient with myself and understanding with myself. So I think it does help.
Now, do you currently have a date?
I currently don't have a date. I'm waiting for parole board in 2033.
2033. Okay, so you are eligible for parole in 2033.
I am eligible for parole.
Okay, and your sentence was?
My sentence was 18 to life.
Got you. Yeah. Understandable. Okay. Loud as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's loud as hell. But what's one of your fondest childhood memories?
One of my fondest childhood memories would be I could go back to a couple times, but I would say when I first got my my driver's permit, I felt like that was a huge accomplishment, being able to drive, every man wants to drive. You know, every man wants to be behind the wheel. So I think that's one of my most fondest childhood memories.
It's kind of ironic, right? Because like that's something that essentially represents freedom, right?
Right.
It's like being able to drive, being able to hop in the car and go. It's, you know,
Yeah.
that represents freedom in a lot of different ways, and I think that's why many people are drawn to it.
Yeah.
The ability to go wherever you want to go. Right.
Right.
Now you find yourself in this situation, you know what I'm saying, where that's not the case. But how do you keep your mind sharp? How do you keep your mind feeling free, even though your physical is locked behind these walls?
That's a good question. I think it's within each person, you know, because you could get lost, right? In the moment, you could get lost in the environment. You can get lost in so many other things, you know, and depression, anxiety, so many negative emotions that you could get lost in that could overpower all the other good ones. But I think what's helped me is my desire to be better. My desire to be better is what's helped me to change and transform and focus on myself. And when I think back to my old self, right, there's a lot of things that I dislike. And I tell myself that's not what I want to be no more. That's not who I want to be no more. So that gives me the fuel to change every single day and do better. But it's within yourself, because you have to seek it it won't come to you. Change doesn't come to you sometimes. Sometimes you have to seek it, you know?
Absolutely, man. What's the first thing you're gonna do in the event that you do get out?
In the event I do get out, first thing I'm gonna do, hug my family, hug my mother, my father, you know, spend some time with my family, you know, go sightseeing, go on some vacations, you know, and just eat some good food. You know, go to a nice restaurant, you know, and just...
What's your favorite type of food?
My favorite type of food? I would say barbecue food. I like barbecue. I like baby back ribs, you know, tri-tips, you know, chicken, barbecue chicken.
Yeah, I see you mouth watering over here right now, just talking about it.
Yeah, you know, that's my kind of favorite food. Anything Lucille's, Dickie's, you know, all that.
That's what's up, man. Man, well, I appreciate you sharing your story, man. Do you have any message that you want to give to the youth out there?
Absolutely. To all the youth out there, I would let them know, just take time to find yourself and understand yourself. Focus on what your priorities are. If you don't have goals, make some, because having goals in your life is going to keep you on track, and it's not going to let you go off into another road, you know? So know the direction that you want to go in, know where you want to be at, and just know your destination and just stay true to it.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for talking to us, bro.
Appreciate it, brother.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Much love.